Welcome to the Prop Drop. Tune in every week for the best prop bet picks and analysis across all major sports. Brought to you by WSN.com.
Hello and welcome back to WSN's Prop Drop, where we discuss the top props across the sports world. MLB, NBA, NHL, PGA, no sport is off limits. I'm Alece Anderson, joined as always by Ryan Sullivan and Adam Forsythe. We're going to do our best to give you the best locks, most unique props, best parlays or teasers. Make sure you check out WSN.com and subscribe to the WSN YouTube channel. Okay, guys, let's just get right into it. Adam, why don't you start us off with the best bets recap?
Yeah, for the first ever prop drop show we had last week, and I had to lay my best bet down, and I'm sorry guys, I dropped the ball. I started out with a very bad beat. I had James Harden outscoring LeBron James and that Lakers-Rockets clash on the weekend. James only putting up 18 points, but Harden had his third lowest point total of the season with 14. Instead, Houston's offense ran through Russell Westbrook, who put up over 40 points as the Rockets pulled off that upset, earning the win at the Staples Center. If you told me that Houston was going to put up 120 points on the road in Los Angeles and Harden wouldn't crack 20 points, I'd call you crazy. But, egg on my face. I'm 0 for 1 in the best bet category, but I will bounce back this week. I won't let you guys down.
I think you'll bounce back. You're due for a bounce back. It was a little bit of a roughie because, not to say that, James Harden had a bad game, but it's a very off game, a very off night.
And so did LeBron James.
Yeah.
And so did LeBron James. Yeah, watching that game was just 3-point bricks all night long. I don't know if you had a chance to check it out, but it was not good. Let me tell you how my best bet went. A little on the better side. I said Damian Lillard would top 32.5 points against the Heat at home on Sunday, and he did just that. He dropped 33.
Woo!
By the skin
were you
of my
sweating
teeth.
it? You must have been sweating it.
Yeah, the prop actually was, what's the better chances that he's gonna do? He's gonna top 32.5. Would it be in that game or the game prior to that in Utah on the Thursday night, where he dropped 42 points? That would have been the safer bet, but nonetheless, a win is a win. I will take it.
I did want to take a little umbrage with that because that was what the prop was. Which games are you gonna do better? And you picked the wrong game.
I don't know. Which game is he more likely to drop over 32.5?
Oh, that's wordplay, and I don't like it. I do not stand for it.
Okay, well, I'll go back here. Okay, we'll come back to this. But that was the bet, my friend. I was trying to help you with the hard thing just now. You're jumping all over me. I improved to 6-1-1 in my last 8 telecasts here, my friend. So there you go. Yeah, there were some wins that hit, some misses here and there. But I'll let you. Why don't you take over a little bit and talk about some more the brighter side of your week?
I will. I'm just being bitter because, yes, Sully got the best bet. But overall, I think I won the week because I had a bunch of hits. As disappointed as I was in the best bet category, I crushed this week. Marquette's Marcus Howard going under 25 points against Butler. I had that one. He only put up 17. My biggest win came on the ice. The Lightning and the Islanders clashing on Saturday. And as I advised, New York would fail to score over 2.5 goals. I cashed in, predicting Steven Stamkos would score. The Lightning would win. Both of those hit. That was a nice payday. And then staying on the ice, I encourage you to pick up the Rangers line of Artemi Panarin, Ryan Strome, and Jesper Fast for daily fantasy on Sunday. All three of them found the score sheet, so I hope you cashed in there. And then, of course, we were talking a little Oscars, and me and Alece were on the right page because I had great value wins in Parasite winning Best Picture and Best Director.
I still haven't seen any movies this year. So, The Lion King should have won.
So any movie advice moving forward, you know who to trust.
That's right.
Yeah.
Not him.
That's fair. That's fair.
But you had a couple big wins outside of your best bet.
I had a couple.
Believe, right?
Yeah. Jack Eichel put up a point for the Sabres. I said trust him in DFS. So it's just 1 point nonetheless. A win's a win, and I will take it. Unfortunately, Zion Williamson was held out of that game against Indiana, so you get a push there.
I did see that in your notes. Why are you including this in your best wins then?
Well, it's just...
You lost.
No, I know that, but like we're going through, the different things of last week. No, if he's out of the game...
Did he get more than X amount of points?
It's a push. If I put down a bet on Zion Williamson and he's out of the game, and it's a game time decision out of my hands after the bet is down, money back.
It's not a win.
Okay,
so it's a loss.
It's not a loss.
Wow.
It's not a loss.
Wow.
Come on. This is the last time I pump your tires off the top of the show. Are you kidding me? All right, I'll go into my biggest misses here so you can gloat a little bit more. Marcus Howard, Marquette, and Butler did not hit the 25.5. I also learned, and this is to your advice, never bet on a player to go over a goal and a half. That's
in the
just,
NHL, yeah.
That's just a horrible idea. I should not have done that. So anyways, you warned me, and I missed on that one. I also took a flyer on Jordan Spieth at Pebble Beach. That did not pan out. He didn't do too bad. Finished 8 under par for in terms of his season, in terms of his year, actually one of the better results. But nonetheless, didn't pay off too well. Why don't we jump in to the best bets of this week? How about that? And we'll look for brighter pastures here. And you know what? I'm going to let you go first. I'm going to let you take the reins on this one. Yeah.
When we're examining these props, you got to find some winners, and it's the best bet of the week for a reason. I'm going back to the hardwood. I didn't learn from my mistakes, apparently. It's not quite a game, but more of a contest. It's the NBA All-Star Weekend, ladies and gentlemen. It's arrived, and I can't wait to see some sick dunks, especially from betting favorite Aaron Gordon, the Magic star, will be working his magic in the slam dunk competition, and he has a slam dunk to win my best bet of the week.
Wow. Okay.
Okay.
Adam's going with Aaron Gordon. He is the favorite to win the contest. But no, I'm switching things up. We're facing off head-to-head in our best bets here. We haven't done this since Super Bowl because that's really the only NFL game you could bet on there. But nonetheless, I'm taking Derrick Jones Jr. He put up a great effort a few years ago in the dunk contest. Just watching this guy this year, the alley-oops, the putbacks, he's incredible. He's got the long limbs, kind of Dominique Wilkins style there. I think he's going to turn some heads. I think he's going to take the win. Lock it in. That's the best bet.
Ooh, I like it. You know, I was looking at that and reading about it, and I'm feeling a little Pat Connaughton, to be honest.
Oh,
I think
plot twist.
I think
wow.
Just randomly in that realm, I think that Aaron Gordon and Derrick Jones Jr., they're going to go big. They're going to try something big, and then there's a risk of miss. So I feel like he's kind of a dark horse, and maybe he's sliding on in there. Huh?
It's a three-way showdown for the best bet category. I like this.
And that's our broadcast.
And guess what? Dwight Howard wins the slam dunk competition.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how it'll go.
We're all looking for jobs on Monday.
For our next broadcast, we want to hear from you. Did you agree with our picks? Where did we go wrong? And most importantly, give us your wildest prop predictions from any sport. And we promise to discuss the top comments in next week's show. As well, be sure to like and subscribe for the most up-to-date prop predictions. Before we get to our prop selections for the week, for our listeners living in New Jersey or West Virginia, go to WSN.com. Special bonuses there and deals. If you want to bet on this week's game, you can compare the best legal online sports books and get exclusive offers when you sign up and start betting. So let's get to it. We obviously already just kind of talked about this one, the NBA All-Star Weekend in Chicago, slam dunk contest. You guys laid it out as the best of the week, right?
Any more to add?
Well, I just want to say first that I appreciate your Pat Connaughton pick.
Hey,
you're in the minority on that one.
I like a random dark horse.
Yeah, and you're not wrong. There, the more complexity there is, the higher chance that you're going to doink one off the back of the rim or something.
Exactly.
So that's fair. I'll add a couple logs to the fire here. You know what? In Aaron Gordon's defense, I think that he was robbed in Toronto a few years ago. It's hard going up against Zach LaVine. The guy is a freak of nature, but Gordon under the legs, off the mascot's head. That's winning a dunk contest in my book. So from that aspect, I think the NBA feels that they might owe him one. So if that helps your bet a little bit, but he's paying basically 1-to-1, and which obviously he's the favorite in this. I get it. He's one of the best dunkers in the game. But Derrick Jones Jr., my friend, if you go back and you watch that 2017 dunk contest, he had some gems, a couple between the legs like they were nothing, jumping over 3 guys like it's nothing. He's paying off at almost 2-to-1 here. I think you're going to see some decent change in this guy. If you're feeling it to put down a few extra bucks, you could do pretty well on this. Derrick Jones Jr., that's my best bet, and I'm feeling very confident in it.
Quick question. Are you in the diamond business?
I am not. I am not.
Because you're throwing out a lot of gems.
Okay. All right.
Wow.
The reason Gordon is paying close to even money is because he's going to win this event. In fact, like I said, it's my best bet of the week. Even though the players around the league, they are acknowledging Aaron Gordon will likely be the runaway winner. The human highlight reel, that's his nickname. I don't know if he knows that yet, but it will be. He thrives in the big moments, under the bright lights. And while his Orlando team's struggling a little bit right now, he's one of the few bright spots for them this season. It might not pay well, but hey, a winner is a winner, and that's what the best bet category is all about. Aaron Gordon might have some tricks up his sleeves this weekend. and betting on anyone else just seems foolish.
If we rewind the show even just a little bit here, just a few moments ago, we're going to see you gloating about your Parasite pick. I picked 1917 to win Best Picture because it was going off as like 1-1 because it was the favorite. And now you're saying that it's a sure thing, and that's why you're going with him because he's paying 1-1. He is the favorite. No, you're going to see a Parasite here at the dunk contest, and it'll be in the name of Derrick Jones Jr.
Is it called Derrick Jones Jr. a Parasite?
No, I was relating him to the movie.
At least please get us back on.
Nothing more. Nothing more than the movie.
Let's stick with All-Star Saturday and talk 3-point shootout. We got Trae Young, Atlanta, plus 350. Damian Lillard, Portland, plus 350 as well. Joe Harris, plus 425. Where are we going?
Yeah, I mean, then the field kind of takes off after that. I mean, there's quite a few long shots out there, and I would love to see Zach LaVine win this. I mean, I didn't go back too much in time, but I can't remember a slam dunk and 3-point winner in my lifetime. I could be wrong on that, but I'm fairly certain on that one. So I would love to see Zach LaVine, and he's a bull. To see him win in Chicago would be great. He's paying plus 750. That'd be a great thing. I don't think it's going to happen. I love Damian Lillard. I love Trae Young. I mean, he's one of the best young guards in the game. But I'm going a little bit off the board here at plus 700. Buddy Hield out of Sacramento. I love the young Kings. I love what they do. But for this one, for many, many years, I'll give you a little education here. Steph Curry was the fastest player in history to hit 803 balls up until this past week, my friends. In 9 less games, Buddy Hield became the quickest to hit 800 from beyond the arc in league history. Like I say, I love the young Kings. I love Sacktown, and I think Buddy Hield's going to get the job done here. And if he does, he's paying some pretty damn good money. I'm taking Buddy Hield for the win.
All right, I will go with the guy on the biggest hot streak entering this weekend, Damian Lillard, feeling it right now as we showcased last week. He's exploded for over 32.5 points in both the games we discussed, but his accuracy from behind the arc is just it's ridiculous at this point. He's had at least 1 3-ball in every single game this season. He's hit at least 3 3-balls in 16 of his last 18 games. In fact, he's only getting hotter. 14 3-pointers over his last 2 games entering this week. Ridiculous. Sure, he's the betting favorite, but at plus 350, I'll gladly take those odds.
Yeah, I mean, nothing groundbreaking for me. I'm also going with Damian Lillard. He's been rolling, just like you said, and I think he's going to continue that roll right into All-Star Weekend.
He did win me my best bet last week. So just like, oh no, you didn't. You bet on somebody else. Sorry, Alece. Let's continue here. It's
debatable.
It's a tough one for Adam there.
Moving along to the next prop, I'm going to talk a little golf. Genesis Invitational going on this weekend.
Yeah, I'm pumped for this one.
Are you?
I'll take the charge on this one.
Yeah.
After a less than stellar field last week at Pebble, the California swing of the PGA, it's the final week before they head down to Mexico. It is a stacked field at the Genesis Invitational. The PGA introducing this new thing this year where they limit the field and then let the title sponsor, Tiger Woods, pick a bunch of people. You don't say no to Tiger Woods. So everyone from Dustin Johnson, Roy McIlroy, Woods, Justin Thomas, Jon Rahm, they're the top 5 favorites. I'm going to target players in that second tier, though, because I think there's too much razzle-dazzle of Los Angeles and there's too many parties. That's not really an excuse at all. But I'm going to go with Bubba Watson. He's currently available at 23-1 on most sports books. You can track them all down at WSN.com. He loves this tournament. Wins here in 2014, 2016, 2018. And you get that trend there of winning every second year. Perfectly fits. In his past 5 years at this tournament, he's never finished outside the top 15. Enters the week with back-to-back top 10 performances. So Watson is my outright winner. But I love to go on some long shot stuff. Try and find some cash money in the top 20s. Some long shots for you, just if you're curious. Eric Van Rooyen making this PGA season debut. Great value at 100-1. Hits the ball a mile. Questionable putting, but that can be masked by this course. So if you want to throw some money on him for a top 20 finish, sprinkle a few dollars on him as winner just in case. That's what I'm going to do. Scotty Scheffler, another player who's fantastic off the tee. Could surprise this weekend. 80-1 on him. I don't think he'll win, but he could very easily lurk around that top 10 area, so I'm going to chuck down a few pennies on him. And then finally, my pick last week, I didn't get it in my biggest misses when we recapped off the show. Paul Casey imploded on Sunday, one of the worst rounds of his career, and he was my winner last week, so not exactly ideal. But because of his horrible performance, the odds makers are scared now. His odds have doubled. He went from 25-1 to 51-1. His odds, he's way better than that. So one bad round isn't too worrisome for me, so I'm going to throw some money on Casey because at 51-1, too good to pass up.
That's fair. That's some damn good money as well. And you know, we kind of went against Phil Mickelson last week. We thought the jet lag would kick in, and we were kind of eating our words a little bit there. But
you know what? Who won? Not Phil Mickelson.
I know that. He put up a better round than we thought that he would. You take everything like it's a jab. Just calm down over there, all right? Just take it easy. Oh, my. Anyhow, you know what? I'm switching things up here. I like Justin Thomas, and I hope that's okay with you. He's third in the odds, so not amazing, paying 10-1 here. Nothing crazy, but it could work in his favor here. He won the Tourney of Champs to start the calendar year in Hawaii, finished fifth the year before, won the 9 Bridges in October. Not a great showing at the Sony to end out January. That's okay, but he finished tied for third at the tough Phoenix Open TPC track there in Scottsdale at 14 under. On top of all that, he finished second in this tournament last year. The year before, he tied for 9th, just 5 strokes back off the lead due to a little bit of a rough second round. Missed a couple putts there. But he's playing some very good golf right now, and I think he's the best bet for a little return. But if I had to go for an underdog, just switching things up a little bit to get a little more cash in the pocket, I'm jumping on Tony Finau. In his last 4 tournaments, he's placed 10th, 14th, 6th a few weeks ago at the Farmers, and 2nd just a couple weeks ago in Phoenix. He didn't partake at the Pebble Beach. Maybe he was jet lagged as well. I don't know what he did. But he's well rested now. We know that much. And he's paying 28-1. Could pay off nicely. There's my 2 picks for the week.
There you go. There's some golf talk for you.
I like it.
I love it. I'm just going to sprinkle in because I love the long shot, like I said, the dark horse.
Yeah.
I'm kind of feeling a little Tommy Fleetwood action. Now, this may be crazy, but he's such a good scrambler that I'm just feeling like it might be time for him. Dustin Johnson too, because it's made for big hitters. He's a big hitter. Yeah. Kind of looking there. I can't help but think Bubba too, with all the wins and of course big hitter.
Dustin Johnson. If you were to say like who's the most likely to win this tournament, it's probably going to be Dustin Johnson. His just odds are not very they're so low. It's like you got to put a lot of money in to get a return. But again, I would not be surprised if DJ is the winner come Sunday.
Head to WSN.com for extensive odds and free picks for all major sports. Tennis. That's what we're going to move into. The Rotterdam winner, ATP.
I like it.
What are you thinking?
I like it. Last week I picked wrong in this category. Could have thrown it in the biggest miss. But that's okay. And this time, new tourney, new players. I'm feeling good about it. Monfils obviously coming in. He had a nice tourney. He took the win last time in France. But I'm going to go with, first I'm going to start out with a long shot. Then I'll massage it into
it's a reverse.
Yeah, it's a reverse. I'm calling a reverse here. A little bit of an audible. The Bulgarian Grigor Dimitrov took out the Canadian stud Shapovalov on Monday. He's off to an impressive start out of the gates. I mean, you could argue maybe he played his best match early on, and now it's out of the way. But nonetheless, I think he could make some damage. Do some damage, I should say, out there. But Daniil Medvedev, ranked 5th in the world, and I think he's my lock in this tourney. He's got 4 titles last year in Shanghai, St. Petersburg, Cincy, and Sofia. The Russian's currently given 11-4 odds. Not the best payout, but I think it's a pretty safe pick. He's obviously the stud in this tournament, so it's the safest pick if we're getting technical with it. But I like what I'm seeing, and coming into this field, he's well rested. I think he could do some damage.
Tennis tournaments are so tough, right? It's just like what you have for breakfast might dictate how you do in the tournament, and it's really, really tough. There's a lot of up-and-coming stars in this field in the Netherlands, and as we've seen in the past, of the big 3, Novak Djokovic, Roger Federer, Rafa Nadal, not in the field, really any tournaments up for grabs. My first instinct when looking at this draw was to go with the number 1 seed like you, Daniil Medvedev, an elite hitter who is on the rise. He will be like future of tennis. His odds, though, 11-4, just it's not good.
It's nothing sexy.
But staying in his draw, I really like his fellow countryman, Andrei Rublev. He could clash with Medvedev in the quarters. I like the matchup for Rublev. His odds are 7.5-1 right now, which is pretty solid at that range. On the other side of the draw, I like a guy from the All Names team, Stefanos Tsitsipas, the number 2 seed on the tougher draw, 6-1, decent value. I am worried about a potential quarterfinal showdown against either Dimitrov, as you mentioned, Jan-Lennard Struff, or Felix Auger-Aliassime. But if he can get past that, I definitely think he reaches the final, maybe steals a win. However, this show's all about taking one winner, and I'm going to go with the Russian. I'm taking Rublev for the win.
Here's the question. What did you have for breakfast?
I had milk and cereal.
In that order?
Milk and cereal.
We're not winning this tournament.
I have not had cereal for 2 years.
Clearly.
I'm lactose intolerant, and I saw some milk today. I'm like, you know what? I'm going for it. And it's paid off. I have no issues.
You're good?
You got a 2-course breakfast, milk and cereal.
I might have to bolt in the middle of this episode, but so far we're cooking.
It's not bad.
Oh my
Not
God.
bad.
All right, moving right along. OddsShark has dropped some lines on the next Los Angeles Chargers starting QB. With the team officially splitting from Phillip Rivers, the odds are in for who's next.
Sorry, still dying from that. Yes, this is the greatest news in the world. I am 33 years old. I have a child, a dog, all this great stuff.
Stop bragging.
Today is when my life starts, because Phillip Rivers is no longer a Los Angeles Charger, and I will get ripped to shreds by people for that, because he's a surefire Hall of Famer and he's the best Charger ever, yada yada. Oh my gosh, now this team can finally move on and get in gear, because this division will be owned by the Kansas City Chiefs for years to come, and you cannot have a guy whose feet are like cinder blocks back in the pocket. So to start things out here, the odds obviously heavily in Tyrod Taylor's favor at plus 150, coming out in week 1 as the starter. He will be the starter in my mind. Coach Anthony Lynn coached this guy in Buffalo. That's the whole reason he's brought him into the mix in Los Angeles. He loves this guy. He loves having a mobile quarterback in the pocket, and you can tell by the different guys that's come through that roster as well. Cardale Jones, not amazing mobility, but he brought him, took a flyer on him behind Rivers. He brought in Geno Smith, who nobody really loves out there, but nonetheless, he can move a little bit back there. And Easton Stick last year in the draft, another one taking a flyer. It's not going to be Justin Herbert who's going off at plus 500. I think it is going to be Tua Tagovailoa,
Yeah.
right? We did the double check on the tongue pronunciation,
Yeah,
but at plus
Tagovailoa.
600. Yeah, I think you'd be wasting your time with a guy like Tom Brady back there. Sure, you could sell a few extra tickets in that new giant stadium, which there's no chance they're going to be able to fill. But Brady will be there for a year, maybe 2 tops if you can squeeze out a good deal. But losing Rivers frees up so much money for these guys. They have no offensive line. Why would Brady want to go there and just get ripped apart back behind that offensive line that barely exists? So I take Brady off the list. Teddy Bridgewater, maybe, but he might have a year or 2 left in him at best. I'm saying a year or 2 of quality football left in Teddy Bridgewater. I just don't see it. He's way, way too banged up, even though by saying I'm taking Tua doesn't have a great injury history himself, mind you. But nonetheless, I think Tua's going to be the man for the job. And I think the better question here would be who's going to end the season as the Chargers starting quarterback, because Tyrod will start things out. If they can draft Tua, it's going to be him at the end of the show. It's like having Flacco and then Lamar Jackson take over. That's going to be the case in LA. He's the future of the team. I'm going with Tyrod Taylor in the bet, but Tua's going to end the season as the Chargers quarterback. Lock it.
All right, so you just bumped up Tua for long and then just sprinkle another variant. Oh, by the way, I'm going with Tyrod Taylor.
Well, I said Tyrod right from the start. It's going to be Tyrod starting things out. This team's not going anywhere fast. What's the point of, bringing in a Brady? It's not going to make a difference.
So that's where I will jump in and say that's why I don't care about this one. It doesn't matter who's under center for the Chargers next season. They will suck. The team knows it. The fans know it. We all know it. That's why I'm inclined to bet on this one, because I think you are probably safest to go with Tyrod Taylor. He is not an NFL quarterback. He'll serve the Chargers well in a transitioning year in which they are racing to the bottom for another top 10 pick in the draft. He might be a starter next season, but an XFL career is more likely in the years to follow. He's 30 years old, so the whole mobility thing is a little bit questionable.
Suggesting we have a second season of XFL football.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We're off to a good start, but
But again, this whole mobility thing, he's 30 years old. He's only started 3 games since 2017. It's laughable the Chargers would turn to him, but it is the Chargers, and that's why he's the betting favorite.
Took the Bills to the playoffs for the first time in like 2 decades or whatever.
2017. It's 2020.
Well, yeah.
Okay,
Whatever.
let's stick with NFL. MVP odds for 2020 are out. Patrick Mahomes, top of the list. Lamar Jackson, followed by Russell Wilson, 10-1. Deshaun Watson, Dak Prescott, Carson Wentz, Drew Brees. I mean, I'm going to jump in. I like Russell Wilson. I think that he had such a solid year this year that I think it's going to carry through. I think the addition and the emergence of DK Metcalf is obviously going to be a huge help to Russell. And I kind of like that, again, just a slight underdog, right? Not expected, because everybody's expecting Lamar or Patrick again.
Absolutely.
But I like it. I'm going with Russell, my boy.
It's
I
your
love
boy.
him.
That's
That's
your
right.
boy. I think that's a great call. And I mean, and Russell paid off so well for people last year in DFS that took a chance on DK Metcalf. He put up huge numbers. I've got him on my fantasy team. Didn't do any good because I ended up losing the year by quite a bit. But nonetheless, he was one of the bright spots for me. I think that's a great pick, taking Russell Wilson. To go with a long shot in this one, Christian McCaffrey is going off at 30-1. He's behind Kyler Murray, Dak Prescott, and Drew Brees. Kyler Murray plays for a terrible Arizona Cardinals team. I don't know how he's so high on the board. I know he won Rookie of the Year, but that's a little questionable still in my mind. Dak Prescott had a terrible season in so many categories. Drew Brees said he'd be happy if he played 3/4 of the snaps, and they work in Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill also coming out on Monday saying, yeah, if I'm not going to be a franchise quarterback, I guess I got to go somewhere else in free agency as well. So watch for Taysom Hill. Oh, baby. Fingers crossed, my friend. But yeah, so I don't know how those guys are ranked ahead of Christian. The big thing with McCaffrey is, yeah, he doesn't have a quarterback right now, but they want to move. They've even said, they've been public with it, that they want to move Cam Newton. There's a high price tag on him right now. When they get no offers for that price tag, they'll start to get something decent in, maybe some seconds, maybe some thirds. And if you can package that up with their number 7 pick in the draft, they could turn things around and grab one of the stud quarterbacks out there. So if that does happen, now is the time to jump on that McCaffrey train, make some great money on it. But yeah, if you want to take the smart bet right now for sure, I'm sorry, I think it is Patrick Mahomes. He's paying 4-1 odds. Yeah, he won the Super Bowl. Yeah, he won Super Bowl MVP. But he's easily the best of the bunch, and the reign of the Kansas City Chiefs is just beginning.
Yeah, it's hard to argue. The odds just aren't the greatest, but for him or Lamar Jackson, really, I like them, but I'm going to go at least on this one. I think Russell Wilson, a mixture of do I think he can win, and also the odds are good at 10-1. It's a much more favorable situation for you. He's the heart and the soul of the Seahawks offense. The majority of the Seahawks wins last season were because of the quarterback's performance. He's proven to be very durable with his legs as he racks up the mileage. I could easily see him earning some MVP hardware if he can at least guide the Seabirds to a division title and a first-round bye. Now, there is a long shot on the board that I'm really intrigued by at 100-1, Nick Bosa. A defensive player has not won the MVP award since 1986 when Lawrence Taylor took it home, but if a defensive player were to win, I think Bosa's definitely the guy. He was unreal this season, all the way up to the Super Bowl, where I think he was the Niners' best player in that game. He's still very young. I think he only gets better. And with San Fran's offense kind of filled with question marks, we both don't really like Jimmy Garoppolo. I think you're on board with us on that one. Mm-hmm. I think the Niners' success rides or dies with the defense next season, and he is the leader of that defense. I don't care what Richard Sherman says. Bosa leading the charge. He could easily could be easily recognized for his accomplishments this time next year. And again, at 100-1, why not?
All right. Before we do the little football shift, head to WSN.com for tons of betting guides for beginners and anybody wanting to learn more about strategy and how sports betting works. As I said, the little football shift, XFL, Week 2, Game of the Week, New York Guardians at DC Defenders. I'm staying out of this one. I got no interest in the XFL. No.
You know, you did kind of hit the nail on the head, though. It is a little football shift because it's still exactly football in every sense of the word, but clearly the XFL has gone the extra mile to try and be as different as possible while playing the exact same game. This is what the AAF, the Alliance, did so poorly. They're like, you know what? We'll just come out with the exact same thing the NFL is doing, but with 10 times worse players. And they crumbled so quickly. The XFL at least is trying things a little differently. There's the presentation. You can hear what the coaches are saying. The guy doing the replays has an Xbox controller. I don't know why. But it's a little different, and I kind of like it. I'm sort of digging it. But in this game, you know, it's also good to see, and I'm sure this isn't the way that they planned it. They just got lucky. But 2 of their best teams out of Week 1 are facing off in Week 2. So this bodes well for them. DC Defenders, they're favored by 3 in this one. But, you know, when it comes down to the on-field stuff, I think it's been pretty impressive, these 2 teams. In Week 1, now mind you, everyone's just working out the kinks. There was no preseason, so take what you will from it. But Cardale Jones showed that he might be all right. He threw a couple touchdowns out there. Maybe he should have stayed with the Chargers. Could have been their starting quarterback next year. No. But they are leading the XFL Championship futures right now, those DC Defenders. But I'm going to switch things up. I'm going to go with the underdog here. I'm going to go with New York to cover that 3-point spread. I don't I'm not going to go money line on this. I don't know. I don't think they're going to win this game, but they'll keep it close. I like Mark McGloin, the old former NFLer, Mark McGloin.
You're doing it again. You're giving yourself a 3-point window. Stop doing that.
That's the bet. The bet is -3.
Yeah, but you said that they're not going to win and they'll cover. So it's good. You just put yourself in a 3-point window.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. That's the bet.
That's very
It's
impressive.
either win or lose. I don't think they're going to... Okay, all right.
You see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying now.
Yeah.
All right, I am limiting... I'm
essentially-
limiting myself. I'm limiting... Okay. You can jump to your own conclusions. But anyways, I think that, New York came out. They looked great in their first game. And I just love that there's good football at MetLife Stadium for the first time in history, because it hasn't happened at that stadium before. So anyways, it was good to see. They destroyed Tampa Bay 23-3. And, speaking of the futures odds and whatnot, it looks like Mark Trestman has skyrocketed up to the top of the board for first coach fired in the XFL as well, after just an abysmal performance out of the Tampa Bay... I wrote it somewhere. Yeah, the Vipers. I was thinking of the Seattle Dragons. Sorry. We're getting there. But anyways, Mark McGloin for the win as I smack my mic here.
Now, see, I kind of want to take back what I said about you just going wild card on it, because you're going to look like a genius if the DC Defenders win by 1 or 2 points, because that's all you've given yourself.
Oh, yeah.
So
and magically, I'm just going to say it was my best bet next week, too.
That's right.
Look, I've been itching for some XFL talk. It is the matchup of the week, and I really like DC in this game. Sure, it's only been 1 week, but Cardell Jones making an early case for XFL MVP. The fans agreed as they rained the chant down on him in the season opening win. The former university star not really sticking around in the NFL, but like you said, he threw the 2 TDs. He almost threw for 300 yards. He's making a case that he is an early star in this league. Putting up 31 points on a Seattle team that has been touted for having a strong defense is no easy task. That being said, facing New York might be even tougher task after the Guardians limited Tampa Bay to just 3 points in that first ever game. But until Jones proves me wrong, I'll be riding DC every week, taking the Defenders to defend their perfect record and cover the 3-point spread, earning the win.
Not a pun. You just said the same name.
Defending the Defenders.
You've had some great puns, and you lost all credibility.
One or 2 point window.
Yeah, all right, I'll take that.
All right, off the field and onto the ice. NHL Vezina Trophy odds. This one surprised me, to be honest. Leading the pack, Connor Hellebuyck of the Winnipeg Jets, plus 300. Boston Bruins, Tuukka Rask, plus 400. Ben Bishop, plus 450. Vasilevsky's at plus 600. Jordan Binnington, Stanley Cup champ, plus 600. Jerry, plus 600. Markstrom, Canucks, plus 700. And Freddie Anderson at plus 800. As I said, I'm surprised with Hellebuyck leading the pack here. He's a good goalie, don't get me wrong. He has bailed that team out time and time again. But the same could be said about Jacob Markstrom of the Vancouver Canucks. That guy has stood on his head, and he's way further down the list. I don't like either of those, though. I'm not choosing them. I'm going with the Stanley Cup champ, Jordan Binnington. I think after missing out on the Calder last year, we heard his displeasure on missing out on the Calder. So it's a little more like extra oomph for him to go out and get it again. And actually not get the Calder, of course, but get the Vezina this year.
I agree. I think he has zero chance of winning this thing, especially if the Jets fail to make the playoffs, which I think they do. Rask and Bishop, interesting selections, but Rask playing time has been really eaten into by Jaroslav Halak this year. Bishop's numbers took a really big hit when the Stars started the season so slow. I'm actually going to target the players in the plus 600 range for best goalie in NHL, the Vezina Award. Andrei Vasilevsky, arguably the best goalie this season, his Lightning team on fire. Their constant offensive production, his play often gets overshadowed because they score so many goals. But if he ends the season with the most wins, and I think he does, it'll be hard to ignore his performance. You mentioned Jordan Binnington. I really like that pick. Voters will be looking to give him some love after he exploded on the scene last year. He just didn't have enough of a resume to get any votes. So this time around, he's tending to the crease for a first-place team. They're showing no signs of a Stanley Cup hangover. Both Binnington and Vasilevsky, great options. And then just to convolute it some more, I'll throw that third option in. You mentioned Jacob Markstrom of the Canucks. Canucks, my favorite team, so this might be a little bit biased, but I think they would not be currently in a playoff spot if he wasn't having such a sensational season. He's kept Vancouver in plenty of games. I think playing late night on the West Coast hurts his chance with the East Coast voters. You just don't really see him unless it's on a highlight reel, but those highlight reels are fantastic. If he helps the Canucks get into the playoffs, perhaps a division title, he should receive some love and some Vezina votes.
I like it.
That is absolutely fair. Yes, excellent points across the board here. I got to say, nicely done. I'm going to put my money on Andrei Vasilevskiy on the Tampa Bay Lightning. Right now, I mean, entering this segment, but entering the week, he's got 5 more wins than any other goalie on the board. The guy's been nothing short of fantastic, and that's closest guy. In terms of the win count, but out of this list anyhow. So Tuukka Rask has a goals against of 214, and then you've got Tristan Jarry over in Pittsburgh. Is it Jarry? Have we got confirmation?
Jarry.
We like Jarry. Okay, I don't know. But anyways, at 218. But I mean, the guy's only played a handful of games. You might as well pluck him off the list. We saw, like you were saying, what happened to Binnington last year in the votes. He didn't have enough games under his belt, so he's knocked out. And obviously, Pettersson had a great year, of course. But Binnington, who are we kidding? Probably played a bit more of a factor, I think, in his team's winning than Pettersson. So, but nonetheless, if you don't have the games under your belt, it does hit you in the vote count. So I don't think that he's even worthy of being on this board. Right now, it's just, the guy's got a 248 goals against. He's just flat out right now the most elite goaltender, I think, in the NHL. 1/3 star of the week in the league last week. And he's got my vote. And I would love to see an underdog win. I'd love to see a Markstrom come in and swoop in. But there's still a lot of games to be played, and right now Tampa Bay is pretty damn hot. So I think that's where the smart money lies.
Okay, sticking with NHL, we got to get into the Pacific Division. It is insane in that Pacific Division. What is it, between first and like 7th?
Yeah, there's 5 teams separated by a couple of points.
Yeah.
So starting with Vancouver, of course, number 1, plus 275. Number 2 is Edmonton, 275 as well. And number 3, Vegas Knights, plus 250. So we're looking at who's going to end the week leading this tight race in the Pacific.
I like it. I think that it is a little strange because right now, the Canucks are leading the way, mind you, by just a point out of these 3 teams, but Vegas has the best odds at the moment, and I think Vegas overall is a stronger team, and at the end of the year, I think they're the decent money to take the division, but if we're just talking the end of this week, I like the Canucks. I mean, the schedule, I think, is in their favor. Technically, the Oilers could win a ton of games here. They got 4 games this week. Meanwhile, the Knights and the Canucks have only 3 games this week. But right now, the Oilers have the Lightning on the board. The Golden Knights are playing the Blues. Those are 2 powerhouse teams. Not loving what I'm seeing there. The Canucks, they've got Nashville to start the week out. And then they've got the Blackhawks, and they've got the Ducks after a nice long break. This is like a week off for the Canucks, no problem. So, the Canucks are my choice to. I shouldn't have said that. I should not have said, But they got a lot of days off, and then they got a cakewalk with the Ducks. So, I think the Canucks are the easy play here.
All right, as much as I want to go with my team, the Canucks, I will be choosing Vegas. The Knights are not feeling too golden right now. Entering the week with a 4-4-2 record over the last 10.
I've heard better.
But only 1 point back at the Canucks for the division lead to start the week. Vegas' goaltending has been the biggest issue this year because analytically they are one of the best teams in the NHL. They've allowed the 5th fewest scoring chances, the 7th fewest shots against. So if Marc-Andre Fleury can figure things out this week, and I definitely think he will, the Golden Knights will not be settling for silver. They will win the Pacific this week. They'll win the Pacific at the end of the season. They have more experience than Calgary, Edmonton, Vancouver, and Arizona. They have more depth in those teams. They're only 2 seasons removed from a Stanley Cup final appearance. The roster's largely intact. I think they figure things out. I am taking Vegas plus 250.
Wow. Ooh. By the time the week's out, the oil will run dry.
Oh my God!
It's all in the print. It's all on the emphasis.
I'm sticking with the Canucks this week. Those matchups with the Blackhawks and the Ducks should be wins for the Canucks, and I think they're going to ride the high of Sedin week, number 22, number 33, getting raised into the rafters.
Excellent point.
A little bit of concern with Brock Besser being out of the lineup. But again, I think that with having the legends in town and having Trevor Linden and Marcus Naslund and everybody there, I think the Canucks hang on to the
schedule's in their favor to be without a stud. This is the week to do it, I think.
That's right.
So.
Okay, moving along to this one. This one's interesting. The odds of the San Antonio Spurs missing the playoffs have risen to plus 450. Will they miss the postseason for the first time in 22 years?
It is an excellent question, and I'd hate to see it because, I mean, that's a hell of a run. That's a good streak there. And the other reason that I would hate to see it is because I've got a soft spot for DeMar DeRozan. I know, we all watched the Raptors run last year, and that's a team that, I mean, DeMar had his fingerprints all over, and it's just a sad thing to see, just to have him go from a championship winning team, get absolutely nothing, and then go to a team that has this great legacy and then miss the playoffs and be that far out of the picture. That's rough. Not to mention, I love Pop. Who doesn't love Pop? The guy's incredible. One of the best characters in the league, bar none. But entering the week, they're 8 games under 500. They only have 12 wins on their home floor this year. That is not great whatsoever. They're currently sitting 10th with a ton of playoff teams ahead of them on their schedule, many of which are in the very near future. The deadline came and went. They showed that they're content with probably missing the postseason. They really didn't do much. And so, yeah, they're kind of content accepting their 2020 fate here. And I don't love it. The Blazers are in 9th, and we've been talking about Dame Lillard. That team is hot right now. They're, the guy is just unstoppable at the moment. He's carrying them. And in San Antonio, I mean, those headlines, they're just not there. They're 4.5 games back of 8th. I don't see it. It's paying 4.5 to 1. That's a pretty good deal. And I think I'm going to jump on it. So
yeah, normally I, as you know, would love to rattle Ryan's cage and go the opposite direction, but I have to agree with you, especially at those odds. The Spurs sliding down the standings. It's been a little surprising, even when management gave the team a vote of confidence by not moving DeRozan at the deadline or really doing much of anything. Too little, too late, in my opinion. It's just not their season. I'm actually pretty surprised that plus 450 number still kicking around. For the Spurs to make the playoffs, they have to leapfrog Portland and Memphis while holding off the Pelicans, who are right behind them in the standings, feeling inspired with Zion Williamson leading the offense. Only one of those teams will make the postseason. Just don't think the Spurs have enough offensive firepower or the defensive coverage to make it happen. So I will be taking them to miss the playoffs at plus 450.
Fair enough.
It is kind of sad, isn't it?
I
feel sad about it, too.
All good things must come to an end.
NCAA March Madness tourney. Who's your early pick, Ryan?
Let's chat about it here. I mean, these are the way too early odds to take the NCAA title, but, in the betting game, we love to throw them out there. Gonzaga jumped up the board this past week after a huge win over St. Mary's. They're paying plus 700 to take it all. But I think aside from that 2017 finals appearance that we saw out of the Bulldogs, this team is just so hard to trust. I mean, they come out all the time as, perennial favorites out of that side of the bracket, and then it's just always disappointment. Again, 2017 aside. And I know it's no minor feat to make it to the final in this tournament, but this was a long time ago, as you reminded me of whoever I was talking about in 2018 or
Tyrod Taylor in 2017.
There it is. Thank you. 2017 was a long time ago. Not so much for NFL bets, but when it comes to NCAA, 2017 was a long time ago. That's as a weak jab that I threw back at you. But anyways, I would love to see Gonzaga get the job done. I don't think they're going to. I like what I saw out of Duke over the weekend, taking the win over North Carolina. Huge clutch shots in the final moments there. And I mean, I know North Carolina's nothing special, but it showed me some perseverance. It showed me some tenacity. It's what I like to see. Don't love betting on Duke, but I think it's smart money here, given the options. But I would also love to see San Diego State get the job done. They're paying plus 1,400. That's not too shabby. And it would just be nice because I have a soft spot in my heart. As you know, I'm a Chargers fan. I feel like that's been well broadcast. And that city was screwed out of a sports team, out of a professional sports franchise. So I would like to see the Aztecs get it done for the people, the good, hardworking, fine people of San Diego.
There you go. You touched on Gonzaga plus 700, Duke plus 800, Kansas plus 800, Louisville is at plus 900 right now, Baylor plus 1,000, and then as you mentioned, San Diego State getting onto the board this week at plus 1,400. Not really much to add here. Ryan is definitely, or at least the self-proclaimed college basketball guru. I'm more inclined to stick to the gambling world of hockey, tennis, and golf. So if he says Duke, I'll hop on board. I did do some deep dives on the other favorites, though. One team kept popping up over and over and over again, and I've really taken a shine to them. The more I've read about them, the more I get into the analytics. I think Oregon can surprise a lot of teams, currently valued at plus 1,800. Veteran team, very strong defensively, and that is a perfect cocktail to do some serious damage in March. They're also one of the top three-point shooting teams in the country. I'm going to throw some money down on a team hidden on the West Coast, so I don't think they get enough love, and I'll reap the rewards with their high odds.
Can't remember when I self-tabbed myself as a guru of the NCAA. XFL, yes.
You yelled at Thomas, our producer, and said, I want that title below the screen.
Sorry, Tom. The Christmas cookies were delicious. I'm sorry.
Okay, we're moving on then to the best bet recap for this week.
Let's wrap this thing up. It's going to be a head-to-head showdown. Mm-hmm. It is the NBA All-Star Game. It is the slam dunk competition. My best bet of the week is that Orlando Magic star Aaron Gordon will work his magic and slam dunk a victory in my best bet category.
Yeah, I like it. It's not, finishing on a high note. That's not too shabby. I'm taking DJJ. I like Derrick Jones. He's paying plus 190 in the Heat. Would absolutely love to see it. I mean, this guy's cranking the thermostat. He's turning on the heat. Nah, I was no good. I was feeling it, and then I just said the same team name again. Anyways, but yeah, this is going to be the time for you to break out that Pat Connaughton jersey. If he comes through with the win, you got to be wearing that on the next show.
I will. Yeah. I will get a Pat Connaughton jersey if he pulls out the slam dunk contest. I'm into it. A reminder, real money daily fantasy sports are a great option for people living in the state where traditional sports betting isn't legal. Head to WSN.com and they can set you up with links to DraftKings and FanDuel. Don't forget to hit up WSN.com as well as WSN's YouTube channel for tons of coverage on all sports. Make sure you like and subscribe to Prop Drop. For Adam Forsythe and Ryan Sullivan, I'm Alece Anderson, and we'll see you next week.
See ya.